So what do you have to do to complete your class? There's 3 basic tabs in the keyboarding program itself that we use, and we do some word processing. If you refer back to your syllabus or to the Getting Started instructions, as you scroll down through the syllabus, it tells you what we need to do. Underneath the assessment, it says we have the orientation quiz, lessons 1 through 25, keypad lessons, word processing documents, and the keyboarding speed. It gives you the grades are broken down, where your book is at, what your book is, and if you come down a little further, it says what to complete. Keyboarding lessons 1 through 25, numeric keypad lessons 1 through 4, best weekly timed writes, 2-minute and 5-minute each week. Use the timed writings tab, read through the word processing section, and then complete these 3 drills that you're going to attach those files to an email to me. And it does say that you're going to use Microsoft Word or WordPad for those. You're not going to use the keyboarding program. It gives you instructions right here. It also tells you how to use the timed writes in this document. Now, if you go to the other document, the one about creating your keyboarding account, shows you how to create the keyboarding account. And if we scroll down, there's the required items again. It tells you how to do your timed writings. Okay, so on our lessons tab, we do lessons 1 through 25. On the timed writings tab, these come out of your textbook. So you'll just go in and try different writings. It doesn't matter which ones you do. In the early stages, you may want to do the first writings, and as you get further and further in lessons, go down and do some of the later writings. And you're going to choose your time, whether it's 2-minute or 5-minute, and then you're going to click forward. It tells you which writing you've chosen, tells you which page you need to go to and which writing. It says if you finish before the time is up, repeat the timing. So you just go into the textbook on those pages and you type whatever it tells you to type. You don't hit enter until you're at the end of the paragraph, and you don't hit, let's see, I think that we only have 1 space after our punctuation mark. So if you go to edit and you go to preferences, see down here, there's a little 2 spaces after the end punctuation. I think the default is 1. So if it's screwing up because it's marking you wrong because you don't have 2 spaces after the end of punctuation, you're going to come into Edit, Preferences, and remove that check mark out of the 2 spaces. Okay, so I'm going to just hit the back button. Timed writings, this is 50% of your grade, comes off the timed writings tab. Keypad section.
These lessons will help you learn the 3-finger touch operation of the numeric keypad. So start with lesson 1 to learn the home row keys.
We only do the first 4 lessons. We don't really do lessons 5 and 6. We only do the first 4 lessons. And then it says to make sure your num lock is on.
Correct finger placement on the numeric keypad is
how to put your fingers on the keypad.
Use the cursor keys or mouse to.
And then he shows us what keys we're going to learn and how to position our fingers. And then it just tells us what to do. And if you make a mistake,
even though it's tempting to rest your wrist on the keyboard or the table, it is not the correct position for keying. Once you're in the correct position, begin practicing the home row keys.
we're going to just go
Nice
through
job.
this.
Now let's mix up those reaches.
Okay, so it says down at the bottom, do we want to repeat this exercise? And normally we're going to say no because we're going to get plenty of practice anyway. But as you see, he keeps talking to us as we go through different
Remember
things.
to keep your fingers upright and your arm relaxed and parallel to the keyboard as you practice keying.
Now, how do I know that what I have to do in each lesson? Do you see the little blue bar up at the top? When you point to the blue bar, it shows you the different segments in that section. And notice the Learn Home row has a check mark after it. That means that I've completed that. So if it doesn't say that you've completed a lesson, go into that lesson, move your mouse up to the blue bar, and find out which one doesn't have a check mark next to it. And if it doesn't have a check mark, then you just go do that one to get that done. So you need to do all the parts of a lesson in order to get credit for that lesson. Again, we got in here by going to the keypad and then choosing the lesson that we want. Once a lesson is done, there'll be a check mark at the end of the lesson. So that goes the same for the lessons 1 through 25. So as soon as a lesson is done, there'll be a check mark at the end of it. So here, Learn the Home row.
To key correctly, you need to have good buttons.
Shows us how to sit at the computer.
Use the cursor keys or mouse. Watch as the professor points out the home row keys.
Goes and points out the home row keys. But notice here, if I move my mouse up to the blue bar, it shows me the different parts here. Now, if you don't have your textbook quite yet, see the part that says textbook keying? Just skip over that one, go do the rest of them, and when you get your textbook, come back into each lesson and do the textbook keying. So whatever's done will have a check mark at the end of it. If it doesn't have a check mark, then you need to go back and do that. So at this point, I'm going to close my keyboarding by clicking the X. And I'll have a different video about how to close. So this is what we need to do. We need to do lessons, timed writes, keypad, and we need to do some word processing. Read through the word processing section that starts on page 78. Use Microsoft Word or WordPad to complete drill 8, 9, and 10. It tells you what pages they're on, and there's some rules to follow. Drill 8 is about alignments and underline. Drill 9 is creating a letter. Drill 10 is creating a report. So that's what we need to do for our class.